Well, so Chris, at about 2 o'clock today, the Placerville Police Department released a few new details into this case. Now, this is the first release of information since Sunday when police here held a press briefing. It was only about a minute long and they took no questions. So lots of questions have remained about this case since all of this happened just a few days ago. Now, today's release reiterated that Roman Lopez was reported missing last Saturday. Multiple agencies searched for him, and then Lopez was found dead. Although the circumstances have not been revealed yet, the department was able to add that an autopsy has been conducted and results could take between 4 and 6 weeks. They also confirmed who Lopez was living with. Jordan Piper is Roman's biological father, and Lindsay Piper is not his biological mother. Now, police say there were 8 children living with the parents at the time of the incident, but they didn't specify where those children are now. Now, police say the family had recently moved to California after the father took a better job opportunity. Now, responding to the questions of limited information that's been provided so far from the department wrote that there's been, quote, very sensitive information that, if released, could jeopardize the investigation. Now, the department continues to investigate Lopez's death as suspicious. Now, I've been digging into this story pretty much all week, and today I was digging into multiple agencies, even across state lines, asking questions about the background of Roman Lopez. And what I've learned is that because it's a child, these agencies aren't able to release a whole lot of information. Back to you.
It is indeed a developing story. We seem to get bits of new information each and every day. Our Giacomo Luca, we thank you for that update.